Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Death Stranding. Today's plans in this session: go to Mama, do some more story stuff, probably build some roads along the way. This time, as we start off, we're going to actually do some mail because that's something we haven't done in a while. It'll be quicker only because we don't have that many. No, we have a lot of mail. Don't have as many data points, I want to say. Peter Englert. Let's see. Desperate Pre for a second pizza pie. Oh, the pizzas, dear Mr. Sam Bridges. It is I, Pizza Englert, the world's foremost connoisseur of delicious pizzas. You so faithfully delivered. Though my impudence would shame the very devil himself, I regret that I must entrust you to bring us another one of these delectable dishes. This time from South Knot City. Oh, I am expecting company, a sweet couple of whom I am intensely fond. They insisted that they be allowed to take the air, but with the wilderness being very dangerous, I refuse to entertain the thought. Alas, while we will be remained indoors, I am incapable of preparing anything but the most base and disagreeable cuisine. And so I must place myself at your mercy yet again. He's the poor dear star. While I am very much aware, gone far beyond the bounds of common decency. In making this request, I must compound my sins with the stipulation the pizza in question must be topped with the bacon of the incomparable Bricio pig. Rico pig. Sure. I don't know. Middle Knot City got nukes. William Lake. Probably heard, but Middle Knot City was nuked about a year back. Civilians sapped everyone, everything gone. The blink of an eye. They said it was a terrorist attack, demons doing their thing. Assholes. Got caught up in the whole mess somehow, too, though I wasn't privy to the details. Long story short, they started screening deliveries a whole lot more thoroughly. Not that it made a difference. It was one tragedy after another. We lost half of South Knot City not long after. Half's better than all, but a whole lot of people still died, and it shook the rest of us pretty bad, and started to wonder if joining the UCA wasn't the uh, worst choice they ever made. And more people said it out loud, the more paranoid they got. It festered and spread that thinking beyond the city, even wording. Not that it takes much for your average prepper to buy in. You might think of becoming a part of the chiral network would have helped calm things down a little, but we still don't have a handle on terrorists. It could fall apart at any moment, but if it does, I don't. We can't let it beat us. Even if everything we've built, breaks down, we've got to do what we can to patch it up. That's all there is to it. Collector. We used to have things called magazines. Back before the Stranding, there was a medium known as the magazine, a collection of articles and pictures printed on paper. Some magazines had hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of readers. At the height of their popularity, it wasn't rare for people to get all their information and news from them. Journalists and editors would collect data, conduct interviews, and compile them into weekly or monthly issues, and readers would devour them with relish. My own father was the editor of a popular magazine, one that published hints and strategies for beating popular video games. Sadly, not long before the Stranding, digital media rose to prominence, and that spelled the end for print publications. Thanks to the internet, anyone could produce content and anyone could consume said content. People became their own editors, their own curators of truth, as it were. My father was always one to swim against the tide, and so he stuck with print. In spite of the writing on the wall, they called him the last editor in chief. Over the years, he amassed a massive number of magazines and newspapers, all of which I was free to peruse growing up. After he passed away, I took up the mantle and continued expanding the collection. But now, in the post-stranding world, we have the chiral network. It's incredible technology, but will it be no different than the internet in the end? For one, I have no desire to descend into a cesspool of abuse and misinformation. If nothing can be done to prevent that, then I want nothing to do with it. Yeah. The environmental scientists. What's great and all, Wheat's great and all, but thanks for stopping by again. I'm sure it was plain enough to see, but this farming experiment of ours has been a runaway success, I tell you. If Amelie never took an interest in our research, you'd never put us in touch with the weather station folks. None of this would have been possible. Thanks to you two, we'll be able to provide a constant supply of food for one and all. Having said that, life isn't exactly the one we had in mind. We came here to study the effects of timefall on plant life. We never intended to stick around and become farmers. But then we got to thinking it might be possible to reclaim creator soil, and one thing led to another. I don't know if Emily expected we'd stay here this long, and we're still keen to continue our research. We've got more to offer to the world than wheat. But if we don't to move on, what does that mean we really have become slaves to it after all? Slaves to the work because we can't go anywhere. Slaves to the weeds. Dear Sam, even we've grown more wheat than we can harvest, more than a bot could handle even. Say, have you been making use of the new Auto Deck feature we shared with you? A friend of ours developed it especially for us so that we could analyze the soil and choose the best spots for growing wheat. Ours got lost the terrorist attack on Middle Knot City though, so we can definitely vouch for how useful it was. Be sure to give it a try if you haven't already. It's just uh, what he's talking about is the terrorist attack propellant modification, but I'm not successful in it yet. So we'll get to a point where we are. Anywho, we've been doing some light reading to try and figure out what to do with our bumper crop. And it turns out the history of wheat is really quite fascinating. Did you know it was originally a strain of grass native to the Middle East? That's right, but it wasn't until our ancestors began to cultivate it that it really came to its own. It turned hunters into farmers overnight, changing the evolution of mankind. Homo sapiens settled down in one place and stockpiled food rather than chasing all over creation. And with stability came society, culture, religion, all courtesy of the little old wheat. But it wasn't a one-way street. Oh no. But wheat made out like a bandit. The obscure Middle Eastern grass would wound up spreading to all four corners of the globe. You could even say it was wheat that used us, and not the other way around. Other way around. In fact, some scholars say just that we became slaves to the wheat. What do you think about that? Hmm? Are we about to become slaves all over again? I sure hope not. That's Weatherstone. Watch out for chiral spikes. Things are looking up, Sam. We're now getting temperature, humidity, wind speed, and air pressure readings along with chiral density data over a huge area in real time to boot. And we're able to analyze all that data and provide an incredibly accurate forecast for what's going to happen next. Most importantly, we can carefully track chiral density in regions where BTs are uh, predisposed to appear, which allows us to predict when and where timefall is likely to occur. But you know what's strange? We've been getting some odd readings lately. Massive chiral spikes, but outside the BT zones. We heard that Higgs managed to, I guess, what you'd say, summon a BT or two to Port Knot City, and that you were attacked by them. Then, if our assumptions are taken and the BTs can pop up anywhere, if Higgs or someone like him makes it happen, then all the hard work we put up into developing our timefall forecast might have been for nothing. Not much point in predicting the rain when the end of the world is on the horizon. Yeah. Junk dealer, how's my letter working out for you? Hey Sam, you found a use for the letter I gave you? I built it with my own two hands, you know. It's one of a kind, not some run of the mill gadget. One thing, and you probably noticed this already, is coated with chiral crystals. Little trick I picked up from my better half. Cute. As you might have guessed, downside is that coating renders it unprintable. Now, not that you've ever had to fabricate a replacement, of course. Or talking super lightweight and timefall resistant to boot. It's the last ladder you'll ever need. Unless you lose it, you haven't, right? Anyway, let me know what you think, okay? Feedback is always welcome. Cosplayer. Using the network to spread the cosplayer gospel. Joining the UCA has done so much to help spread the word about my costumes, and all sorts of people have gotten in touch and sent me new ideas for designs. This would never happen if it weren't for you, Sam. Thank you. I don't think I've mentioned this before, but I've gotten a twin sister. Maybe you've met her. She's a prepper too, but she doesn't do cosplay. She's more interested in spiritual stuff. You know, mystic mumbo jumbo, all of that. Two sides of the same coin, though, I guess. Cosplay is all about metamorphosis, being at one with nature. You should go and have a chat with her if you haven't. She's pretty interesting in her own way. And interesting. George Batten, the straight light at the incinerator. The strange light. This is going to sound crazy, but you've got to believe me, Sam. So I was at the incinerator. They found a body near the way station, and it needed to be burned since we don't exactly have a team of corpse disposal guys on call. I was given the job. I'd been outside more than the other guys lately, so it makes sense. Wasn't like I could say no. Someone had to do it. Doesn't mean I wasn't scared shitless, though. I don't have dooms or anything, but you don't need special powers to know when a BT's got your scent. I could tell they weren't far behind. I just wanted to get the job done and come home. But then one of the guys popped up and out of nowhere and nearly gave me a heart attack. Somehow made it to the incinerator without getting grabbed, and that's when things got really weird. I saw this glowing thing, this light, I guess. I wanted to take a closer look, but I wasn't. I wasn't able to. That I wasn't about to take any chances. I had to get the hell out of there. I can't stop thinking about it now, though. You should check out if you have the chance. I want to. I want to go back to the first area so bad. Do some more of the premium missions, but we'll be doing that later. The amazing potential of hologram generators. I'm grateful to you, Sam. It really was you every time. I've got to say, joining the UCA's opened up a real treasure trove of data. But it seems I'm not the only one who's got some new toys to play with. Have you given your Aldrich's new hologram generator a try? It's pretty amazing. Not only do the grams look just like real rocks, they don't get picked up by mule scanners either. You can even use them for concealment. It's not like the technology and techniques we once used to make old movies, light and shade optical illusion, but the level of realism is something else. I'll let you in on a little secret. I used a hologram generator to sneak into a mule encampment and shoot some footage. They had no idea I was there. It's amazing what kind of shots you can get when no one knows you're filming. In fact, I've decided I'm going to use the same technique to shoot a whole movie. I'm going to call it The Great Deliverer. I've already got you down on starring the role, Sam. You don't disappoint me, will you? Depends if you can catch me. I'm a Sutherland. Is it weird to have feelings for bots? It always stays between you and me. This stays between you and me, okay? I'm trusting you. Right here goes. Thing is, come to have feelings for the delivery bots. Nothing weird. Just you know how people are happy to see you when you drop by, and worry about you when you're not around. Well, it's like that for the bots. I can tell them apart. Know their every scratch, every patch of peeling paint, every little quirk. I know their personalities, and if we lost one, I can't say I wouldn't shed a tear or two. Sounds crazy, right? AIs and bots don't have feelings, but humans can't help it. Convincing yourself it's not logical and trying to fight it is easier said than done. Maybe that's why people used to name their cars because we were more than just tools, or because they were more than just tools. You know, not that you don't understand. You've got a BB. They may tell you it's just an equipment, and you may tell yourself that too. But that's not what you believe in your hearts of hearts, is it? All right. Our artist's mother. Is like out for them. Dear Sam, wonderful news. My daughter's getting married, although you've probably been wondering. We're not related at all. Interesting. Not related at all. I've never been married. I've let alone had any kids. I took her in 5 years, 5 or so years back After her parents died, she could barely speak a word of English. Her parents had been Japanese, but we managed in our own way. It's funny, until the moment we met, I thought I was destined to live out my life all alone, but as soon as I laid eyes on her, that changed. I knew in my heart that I had to protect her, make sure no one ever hurt her. Though I ended up doing that myself by being too overprotective in the end. I've tried to make up for it. My daughter is leaving the nest at last. I couldn't be happier for her. All I can do now is pray and hope for their best. And it'd be awful grateful if you could look in on her and her husband from time to time, just to make sure they're doing okay. We got married. How are you holding up, Sam? We must have walked more than 1,000 miles by now. Try not to let it get to you. I'm sure it must be a lonely walk. Well, anyway, I wanted to get in touch and tell you that we got married. I know. Who gets married in this day and age, right? But through the Carl Network, we got in touch with the priest and we said our vows, and well, that was it. Silly maybe, but it seems that we have brought smiles to a few faces. So thanks for making it possible. We owe you more than we can say. That's cute. I think that's it. So the only thing that sticks out of my mind is the second pizza pie. Hopefully, we're going to be getting this soon. Let's look at the music. Those are the songs: Waiting 10 Years, Garcia, and Without You. Data tips: throwing cargo. Press square while throwing cargo in your hand will make you swing your arms. Release L2R2. Let go of the cargo in that hand. Note Sam can throw further with his right arm. Oh, because he's right-handed. That makes sense. Staying upright. Falling over will damage cargo. Take damage, cause the impact band on cargo continues to gradually turn red. If you start to lose your balance, press L2R2 to center yourself. Anything else? Blood loss from gunshot wounds. Sam will lose blood when hit by bullets, and if his blood levels reach 0, he will die. Blood levels will be restored with crimping blood banks or eating cryptobiotes. Blood bags are essential in a fair fight because they restore blood levels through constant transfusion. Anything else? Other players' souls. You may encounter souls of other players in the stream. Touching them strengthens your connection, enabling you to share more items, facilities, etc. Be sure to connect with them as many as you can. That's when you die. I don't want to die. I've died at least 3 times now. Or maybe twice. Technically 3, including like the beginning. Whatever. Using blood stains to hit BTs with standard ammo. Standard ammo can be effective against BTs if fired at blood stains on the BTs created by a hermetic grenade. In fact, this can cause more damage to a BT than hitting them with a hermetic round. Using vaporized bloods to hit BTs with standard ammo. Standard ammo can be effective against BTs if fired through a blood smoke screen created by the hermetic grenade. This can cause more damage to a BT than hitting them with a hermetic round. Blood stains. Vaporized blood. Things to keep in mind. Guns I will not use, though. Because we just got the assault rifle, shotgun, and pistol last time. And I'm hoping enemies won't use those guns against me, so. Floating carriers and ladders. If the angle of the ladder is too steep, floating carriers will be unable to climb it. In such case, the carrier will detach itself from your waist automatically. When using a rope to pull yourself along, any attached floating characters will detach from your waist automatically. If too much strain, just put on the connecting wire. That's going up, not going down. Using firearms, L2 to aim, R2 to fire, square to reload. Anything else? Nope. Interviews. The situation after the first Death Stranding incident. From Die Hardman. There was a series of huge explosions. Well, not so much a series. They were simultaneous worldwide. Global comms infrastructure was shot to hell, but we salvaged what we could and tried to make sense of what had happened. It didn't seem like much at the time, but it was a hell of a lot better than what we have now. Anyway, the government figured out the whole thing was a terrorist attack at first. We've been dealing with a lot of these back then, but it did not take long to see that this was something else. The craters left by the blast were bizarre. There was no rubble, no dust, even which lead to the scientists who ruled out meteor strikes. There was a trace neutron radiation alpha rays, but we knew it was the nukes either. Some of the particles were detected we'd never even seen before. Chiralium, though we don't know it at the time. The more we studied them, the more our scientists came to the same conclusion. These were the results of annihilation events. It was right about that time when the chiral clouds started to form, and after that, all communication with the outside world went down for good. No blue in the inverted rainbow. Dead man. We humans are complex multicellular organisms, 60 trillion cells inside each one of us. They say, how many of these cells need to die for us to consider a person dead? Are there any cells in particular which determine whether a person is alive or dead? These questions are academic, of course. The exact point of death can't be calculated using cell counts. On the other hand, no one can deny the existence of degenerative diseases that gradually destroy more and more cells, leaving the victim effectively half dead. And what about me? What if my organs have been harvested from other people? They still work, of course, but could their original owner have been said to be alive? I really don't know. Incidentally, have you ever heard of a fun little experiment they once did with roundworms called C. elegans? These creatures were notable for glowing bright blue when exposed to UV lights, but only when they die. Seems to be reacted from the anthoranic acid within the organism and is known as a death for fluorescence. If that's right, blue is very much the color of death, it seems. Can it therefore really be a coincidence that there's no blue in the inverted rainbow? Timefall strengthens an area's connection to the beach. This is something to do with the chiral particles becoming excited, I believe, in spaces connected to the beach. Electromagnetic waves with a blue wavelength can travel easily through the seam, leaking out onto the beach. Some people think that's where the blue in the inverted rainbow goes. Who knows? The fact that the blue is a strong connection to death, though, that much seems pretty inarguable. Sure. Sure. I think we're good. Yeah. Member chips. What's our new member chip? Soap bubble. Nothing is quite so fragile and spherical as the simple soap bubble. It floats through the air, dancing in the wind, all the colors of the rainbow reflected on its surface. And then, just like that, pop, it's gone. Surely that's why certain poets once likened the short-lived beauty of bubbles to human existence itself. Fortunately, there is no record of anyone who have ever asked for a soap bubble to be delivered, and the poorest of the world continue to pray that such a request never comes. Please, God, don't send me the soap bubble. Don't let me deliver this. Get that one request. Bring me a soap bubble.